So my name's Jeffrey Waybright. I'm actually an accounting instructor at Spokane Community College, and I've taught for almost 30 years in the community college system in the state of Washington. The work of accounting boils down to really being a scorekeeper. So there's a lot of facets to it, but at the end of the day, our job is to keep score for a company and to let people know whether they're winning or losing at, in essence, making money, because that's what most businesses are in business to do. So at Spokane Community College, we offer a couple different varieties of certificates or degrees in accounting, and they're kind of made to be a pathway one into the other. So you can start any quarter you want, which is kind of really neat about our program, and you can do most classes either physically on ground or online, or sometimes a combination of the two. But we offer a one-year certificate called the Accounting Clerk Certificate. And so you can come for 1 year and get that certificate and be employable out in the field, or you can continue straight on into the 2-year, what we call an AAS Accounting Assistant degree, And so that one's just a little bit more in depth and breadth, covering the same information. A lot of people ask, what can I do with this 1-year certificate or the 2-year degree? And my answer to that is, what do you want to do? Accounting is such a broad field, which is why I like it. I mean, if you think of, little Billy and Susie running their lemonade stand on the street corner that you drive by in the summer, they need accounting because they want to know, did they make any money at the end of the day? Clear on up to huge companies like Amazon or Microsoft or General Motors. Those companies also have accountants. So you can end up in a very small firm, clear on up to a very big firm. You can be in charge of one little specific area of accounting. Maybe you're the accounts payable person that does all the accounts payable for a bigger company, to you could do everything for a small company. So there's just tons of variety in where you can take this certificate or degree within the local community or nationwide if you want. What really drew me to accounting is I'm very detail oriented. I love to problem solve. I like numbers. And so I think that drew me to accounting. But by the same token, a lot of times people will say, well, you got to be a math whiz to be an accountant. And that's not true. I mean, literally, we add, subtract, multiply, and divide. The math we do is pretty basic. Now, I would argue that if you have an aptitude for numbers, you're more likely to enjoy math and accounting. But you don't have to be really good at the high-end math. I think if you're detail-oriented, you like structure. I think that's what kind of lent me to accounting, because like I said, we are scorekeepers, and things need to be in the right place, and you have to, details are really important. Whether you're a little tiny shop or you're this huge company, you need accountants. So there's a good demand for accounting, and nothing's recession-proof per se, but I would argue that an accounting degree is one of the better ones you can have, because that's one of the last things you can afford to cut is your accounting department. You may cut back a little bit here or there, but even when times are tough, I'm getting phone calls for, hey, do you know of somebody that's looking for a job? And it's kind of interesting because within the last few weeks, I had 3 people I know out in industry reach out to me. Well, we've got an opening. Who do you got that you can send our way? So I'm constantly getting emails, phone calls from people in the Spokane community going, we're looking for somebody with a 2-year degree. Do you got anybody? So I would say yes. The demand is great right now, and even when things are tight and tough, it's still a pretty good field to go into. Well, if you're interested in business at all, any form of business, then consider accounting, because I consider it one of the most usable degrees. And not that there's anything wrong with any of the other degrees, but I've got students that had a passion for animals, but they were good in accounting. They went and got a job working in a shelter doing the accounting, but they got to hang out with pets all day, and they loved it. I've actually had a student who is a cop, but they went and got an accounting degree, and they do forensic accounting, but they're a cop at a local police department. And so there's so many things you can do with it. The job's exciting. I think it can be exciting. It can have a lot of variety, and you've got so many different options of what you do with it.